You know, coming from the Sonic community, it feels really good when a talented group of people can come together and make something special you can only get from dedicated fans. And despite its flaws, the many flaws, the FNF community, or the Friday Night Fuckin' community, is filled with some of the most talented people I've ever seen. You give people the opportunity to flex their talents and creativity when you give them an open source rhythm game, and the pieces just come together on that one. It started simple, but progressively got more ambitious. Simple reskins, replacing characters, replacing backgrounds, remixing songs from the base game, and of course just straight up full-blown mods with original content in them. Witty, tricky, mid-fight masses, smoke 'em out struggle, these got so many people making their own characters on top of putting other Newgrounds characters into the game via mods. And especially in Tricky's case, had a huge impact on modding for the near future. However, it was only a matter of time before modding would eventually lead to licensed characters showing up. Being in mods that have just as much effort as OC mods, indie or otherwise. I could go on and on about other mods that left an impact, but on its 1-year anniversary, let's talk about one of the biggest and certainly one of my favorite mods to come out of the community. Fucking Indie Cross. To say that this is one of the most ambitious mods in the community would be underselling it. It has so much jam-packed into it that makes it so good, and I'll get into it here, as this video is literally just going to be a mixture of me gushing about it, telling those who are uninformed about it, as well as talking about how many feel or still feel about the mod. So let's begin. So look, I wouldn't expect a full in-depth scoop on how this was created, when it was created, what Brightfire had for breakfast the morning he started working on it with everyone else in the team. I'll just give a brief overview of the upbringing of the mod. Indie Cross was founded by Moro Night-Eye and directed by Brightfire and DA Games, or at least just the latter two, since Moro left the team sometime after the mod's actual release. To be brief, it was simply mismanagement issues on his part and he left. He and the team are still on good terms from what I gather, and nowadays he continues to make fight animations on his channel, which I'll show on screen now. Show him some love, because his animations are absolutely amazing. In fact, he was the animator for the cutscenes in Indie Cross. He won't be anymore if I'm correct, since he's currently working on his own mod on top of other things. Well, all that aside, the beta for the mod released sometime early 2021 as a streamer build, that eventually released publicly with 3 songs to play. Cuphead's first song, Snake Eyes, Sans' second song, Sensational, with the genocide mechanics automatically on, and Bendy's third song, Last Reel, which got the most changes out of the 3 beta songs by far, but more on that later. It was incredibly fun and popular as hell. I and many others, especially Pinkaru, whom, by the way, as of writing the script, is now the current director of the mod, all waited patiently anticipating a mod that would blow us away. Which is exactly what we got on April 8th of last year when the mod finally released to extremely high praise, and some low too. Outright hate in some cases. Why? Well, let's get to that in a bit. For now, let me summarize the mod itself. So yeah, as Indie Cross implies, your opponents are characters from various popular indie games, with more to come in the future. For now, the main 3 of the mod are Cuphead from, well, Cuphead, Sans from Undertale, and Bendy from Bendy and the Ink Machine. I love this lineup and every song that's in them. It just feels like they had so much fun making all the stuff that the Wii's contain. That being full-fledged voice acting, animated cutscenes, and amazing set pieces and art. Not to mention the many reasons for Boyfriend ending up in the situations he's in the first place. Like how I assume someone sends Cuphead to find a portal opener or something, and BF, who's just been getting transported to places for some reason, is seen as the suspect, so instead of shooting him, he decides to pull out a mic and fight BF on his own terms somewhat, at least at first. I like how progressively worse it gets. In the first song, he decides to rap. In the second song, he shoots while rapping. In the third song, after taking Mugman's incredible advice,
"What did my brother say?"
"I come to make an announcement. Shadow the Hedgehog's a bitch-ass mother..."
he just straight up starts trying to murder you even harder while rapping. Afterwards, cutting the rapping part out entirely. BF only being saved by a portal. And Sans? So after being hired by someone we still don't even know, gonna assume Daddy Dearest, somehow, he starts to rap battle you, but at the beginning of the first song, he throws mechanics at you right off the bat and then slows the song down, as sort of a reference to how he starts off with his strongest attack at the beginning of his own fight in Undertale. Not to mention, there's actually different routes. This blew my mind when I first got there. Telling a story in an FNF mod is nothing new, but to add a different ending depending on what you do mechanically in the song is so awesome. Basically, Sans thinks you're going to fight him just like how you fought Cuphead, and when I had first gotten here, I didn't really know what was up because I hadn't played Undertale at that time, but after I did, everything sort of started falling into place there. The only reason Sans starts off attacking you, I assume, is because you fought back against Cuphead, instead of running away or something. Similar to how Frisk would, or at least should, handle battles in Undertale, to be a pacifist like in the pacifist playthrough of Undertale. Therefore, Sans is on guard because he thinks you're going to fight. Yeah, I don't know, I'm just assuming that's the intention. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. One thing I do know is that the pacifist and genocide thing has actual meaning within the week itself. As after the first song, you go to Sensational, where you have the ability to dodge and attack. All you need to do is dodge, but if you choose to attack him at least 3 times, the third song will change. Basically, not attacking at all and going for the pacifist route will lead you to Final Stretch, a completely harmless song where he doesn't attack you at all and you just have a friendly rap battle followed by you leaving in a friendly manner. And then there's the genocide route, where if you attack him during Sensational, not only will he activate the attack arrows in the final part of the song, the third song will then transition to Burning in Hell, a song that has every mechanic including one more I'll get to later. I absolutely love this shit. It blew me away when I first found this out. Burning in Hell is one of my favorite songs in FNF period, and damn it was a hard song to play, but satisfying when I finally finished it. Sans was already amazing, but then we move on to Bendy, which is on the same level of amazing in my opinion. Side note, I know many people were confused as to why Bendy was even here in the first place, as opposed to any other indie title. Now, aside from the fact that Moro, to my understanding, really likes Bendy, I don't even think Bendy was a bad choice to make at all. I mean, his week is good, his songs are good, and he's from a popular indie horror title. Of course, not the indie horror title, but there's plenty of mods for that. I know some people don't like Bendy and the Ink Machine, but it has its dedicated fans, so I think that's worth something. I'm not one of them, as I don't play horror games, but even I still appreciate Bendy being here. Well, all that aside, Bendy week is incredible. Starts off with Boyfriend eating shit into running into a cardboard cutout of Bendy, which he starts rap battling because of course he does. Getting no response halfway through the song, he just attacks the cardboard cutout, summoning the actual ink demon, that then proceeds to start rap battling him, for some reason. The second song introduces the ink mechanics, but nothing too crazy. But then the third song, Last Reel, just straight up has you fighting mobs as you are playing a rhythm game, and trying not to blind your screen. Absolutely crazy, but more doable than it sounds, and satisfying when you finally pull it off, but even then that's not even all, because it then goes into Nightmare Run, where you're literally running from Bendy through the entire studio as you're rap battling. Then afterwards, Boyfriend tries to get away, but Bendy ends up catching up to him, and starts beating the shit out of him. Like, there's no other way to put it, he just straight up beats the ever-living shit out of Boyfriend, and it's kind of hilarious. Boyfriend then escapes by the power of random portals, and that's the end of any sort of story that Indie Cross has, at least for now. So yeah, the weeks themselves were already crazy, but then there's still a whole lot more to do in this mod. Replay songs, which introduce other characters from the respective series that are already in this mod, such as the Devil from Cuphead, Papyrus from Undertale, and Sans, I'm just gonna call him Sanis, from Underpants, both Sammy and the cartoon version of Bendy for Bendy and the Ink Machine, and even a surprise guest song where you rap battle against the Goose from Untitled Goose Game. This mod is absolutely bonkers, dude, and you're still not even done. However, I'm going to save that for the next section of the video where I talk about the gameplay itself. So, remember when I said that Indie Cross had a lot of praise, but it also had a shitload of people hating on the mod? Well, let's break down the main reasons as to why that is. Firstly, a nitpick that I commonly saw was Cuphead's betrayal in week 1, concerning him getting really angry by the end of the week. Like, really angry. This is out of character for many, and I kind of get it, but nothing to really be that upset over. The main reason some people don't like this mod is the gameplay, or to be specific, the mechanics, which I will explain in full. Now some have probably asked yourself, and are probably asking yourself right now, as to why I would, since this mod is a year old. Because I want to. No, but seriously, some people might not have even been around for version 1, or haven't played the mod yet, either due to uninterest, or simply because they just got into the community, so it wouldn't hurt to break it down for an anniversary video, right? Anyway, let's begin. Boyfriend has 2 tools in this whole mod to deal with the onslaught that he's going to endure in this entire shit. His mic attack, and dodging. Let's get into the weeks. First is Cuphead. The first song, Snake Eyes, is harmless, but the second song, Technicolor's Tussle, is when Cuphead starts shooting bullets at you that drain your health and can kill you, so you have to interrupt by attacking him with Shift, when you get a card from hitting a parry note. And on the third song, Knockout, you dodge an insta-kill attack with space that, in the old version, was only readable by looking at Cuphead's arrows. If he had 4 parry notes, then he was going to shoot an EX shot. If he had 2, he was going to shoot a roundabout EX shot that you had to dodge twice. On top of that, the song introduces fake-out shots that chip your health slower than the regular blue bullets. What he'll do is shoot you with the green bullets and then after some time, transition into the blue bullets. What's tricky about this is that, like before, you need to interrupt him, but if you do it while he's shooting the green bullets, he'll transition into the blue ones. The green ones are a trap, so if you waste your attack before he gets to the blue ones on his own, you just died.
Stop that, stop that. What?
I honestly like this approach to letting players figure something out themselves, since the instructions at the beginning told you to interrupt Cuphead when he shoots blue bullets. It doesn't even mention the green ones, making it a nice trap for those that didn't pay attention. Overall, the songs and mechanics are pretty good. I like that you have to be careful with your attack, or you risk wasting it and dying. It's pretty hard, but personally fair hard. Not to mention that in the second song, they tell you everything you need to know, so you have to remember by the third song, or suffer the consequences. Now, people didn't like the insta-kill aspect of it specifically, and I can totally get that. Not to mention there was no such indication of an EX shot being fired when Mugman walked on screen near the end of the song, and boy did that trip up a lot of players.
What? Mugman! Oh my god!
What? What the no? I am so pissed. Why did, bro?
Those that have heard me rage in the past know damn well I resonate with this clip so much. And I just want to gush about the death animation real quick. You die and get turned into a ghost just like in Cuphead, and also just like Cuphead, you'll get an indication of how close you were to beating the song, similar to how it shows you how close you were to defeating a boss. That's so fucking good, I love that. Well anyway, overall week 1 was a generally fun but hard time, but by song 3, people were either left wanting a break or wanting more, and oh boy did we get more. Week 2 has you fight against Sans from Undertale, of course. Like I mentioned before, he starts off attacking you in the beginning part of the first song, Whoopee. That's where all of his mechanics are introduced. First is a simple, honestly very readable attack that you need to dodge with space, similar to Cuphead's EX shots. Then there's the main hard one, which are the bone notes. In Undertale, whenever you get attacked by orange and blue attacks, you need to interact with them in different ways to avoid them. When it's an orange attack, you dodge it by moving when it overlaps with you. If it's a blue attack, you dodge it by not moving at all when it overlaps with you. A very unique challenge that they decided to replicate somewhat in FNF. Basically, you have to hit the orange notes while not hitting the blue one. Fail at these and you'll die on the spot, as well as a dodgeable attack if I recall. But that's not all. Like I also said earlier, the second song, Sensational, will lead to 2 different things depending on what you do during the song. Nothing happens if you just dodge and play the song, and then it will lead into a final stretch, a harmless third song. However, if you do attack him, not only will the later half of Sensational throw bone notes at you, but then the third song turns into Burning in Hell, a song where, if you recall, there was one more mechanic I didn't mention that got added. And well, it's Undertale. Yep, one of the most interactive gameplay mechanics in FNF modding besides Boo Blitz from Super Mario Bros. Funk Mix, where you move around as BF to dodge attacks. You straight up move BF Soul Undertale style to dodge Gaster Blaster attacks from Sans that will take massive chunks of health. Needless to say, a lot of people were caught off guard by this, and it was honestly funny as hell to see it.
Yes! Oh! Ah! You can actually control.
Oh fuck! You have to play under. Oh hell no! Hell fucking no! Are you serious right now?
This is so cool! Oh my gosh! Yeah!
Editor's note, I had to turn Kyuubi down so much lower than everyone else specifically because of how loud bro can get. Never change, man. Never change. So yeah, definitely pretty difficult. Doable, of course, but was a bit much for some. Now, a major flaw that this week has, and still has if you're playing it for the first time, is that the mechanic explanation screen is bugged. In every week, once you start it or start the part in the week that has the mechanics, a screen will pop up letting you read the mechanics before continuing. Sounds helpful, right? Unfortunately, tough shit for week 2 players because the screen is bugged and won't show up. The only time the screen will show up is, and I shit you not, when you exit the week and come back. Look, I'm not here to insult or offend the programmers at all, but this is a serious flaw. Damaging even. I saw a lot of playthroughs where people had to guess what arrows to miss or press, and if they got it right but just made a mistake, now they'd be even more confused. For the future, y'all need to make sure every screen does show up, because that can leave a somewhat bad impression from someone who hasn't played Undertale. Again, no hate, no insulting, just pointing out a flaw. Other than that, the week is great. Hard but charming and fun. Now, as for Bendy, ooh boy, shit got intense. So in the first song, Imminent Demise, everything is fine. The second song, Terrible Sin, is where 2 notes are introduced. Ink notes and shadow notes. Ink notes fill your screen with ink upon hitting them, blinding your view of the chart. If you hit too many and your screen gets covered too much, you die. Though to be fair, you can't see your chart, so you're basically dead anyway. Shadow notes, however, are just straight up insta-kill mines that you can't hit at all. And that doesn't even cover the third song, Last Reel. So basically, members of the Butcher Gang will come from the right or left while you sing. They'll attack once they get close enough, so your tools for survival come into play again. Bendy will rap battle against you, sending ink notes at you. Not shadow ones though, at least not yet. While that's happening, you fight back against the gang by pressing left or right shift to attack them. They take 2 hits to go down and they'll respawn after a few seconds depending on the direction. However, your attack this time is on a cooldown once again, so you can't just use it over and over. And you definitely shouldn't let them hit you, as their hits cover your screen in ink similar to an ink note. That's where the spacebar dodge comes in again. Unlike your attack, the dodge can be spammed to hell to avoid attacks until your attack comes back. This is all the shit you're dealing with for the first half of the song. The Butcher Gang gets scared away by Bendy, so now it's just playing the song with 2 minds. Shadow notes start appearing, but this part is also really hard despite not fighting anymore, as visual annoyances will block your screen for a bit, making it extremely likely you'll hit a shadow note if not careful. So yeah, pretty insane. However, you're still not done after that, as you recall, because then you go into the 4th song, Nightmare Run, where, as I said before, Bendy chases you through the entire studio in song. You only need to play notes and avoid 2 mines as usual, but sometimes in the middle of the song, the note skin will change to these kind of harder to see neon outline notes where the ink and shadow notes are yellow instead. This irritated a lot of people, as the notes were very hard to see and shadow notes were everywhere, making the song harder than Last Reel for many. The song with battle mechanics in it. Now, this week was absolutely epic. I love the battle mechanics of Last Reel despite how hard it was at first. Believe it or not, I got it down in like 2 tries. Nightmare Run was awesome and running through the entire studio looked spectacular, but I firsthand understand how the neon notes were hard to see. Like, I was on Nightmare Run for almost an hour, but despite that I personally didn't classify anything as bullshit or too hard. But many others were of a different opinion. Many didn't like all the insta-kill moments in the mod in general, especially in Bendy and Sans' case. Sans, because on top of being hard, most of his attacks in Undertale didn't even kill you on their own. They sort of poisoned you, I guess, but here it's just death, and Bendy was just overkill for some. Hell, I bet a few of you that either don't play FNF or haven't played the mod probably had a huge what the fuck face hearing some of this, and trust me, I get you, it can be a lot to take in for some. Now, had that been the only problem, it would have maybe went away in time, but unfortunately that's not how it went. See, a few in the community, including one dev whom I won't say, started deeming any complaints, reasonable or otherwise, as skill issue, and the fact that the mechanics could be turned off entirely. Yep, that's something I've yet to mention. All those things I mentioned, every mine, every attack, all the fights, even the note skin change in Nightmare Run, you can just not do it, which was the main argument in people calling out others because God forbid we handle shit in a civil way here. Now the thing is, I actually was on the side of people that didn't understand why people complained if you didn't even have to deal with the mechanics at all. You could even go into options at any point in any week via the pause menu and turn them off if you don't want to be on a song forever because of a mechanic you can't overcome. Of course, I didn't think people that had a hard time were bad or anything, but some of the extreme hate that came about as a result of them was just unnecessary. Nowadays, while I do still think there were many who exaggerated the severity of the mechanics, I did in fact understand the side of people who wanted mechanics but toned down a bit. The only compromise beforehand between having them off or on was turning the difficulty down, which, if I recall, turned off dodging for some songs, but I'm not sure what else, as it's been a while, and you'll be hard pressed to find an FNF tuber that plays on normal or easy if they've been playing for a while. Point is, it was weird. Well, that aside for now, let me very awkwardly segue into the free play songs, where we run into other opponents I mentioned near the beginning. No story in these songs, by the way, they're just fun extras. First up is the devil himself, itself from Cuphead. The song's Satanic Funkin's mechanics are as simple as dodging the minions when they run on screen, similar to the actual game where they run on screen to attack you. Nothing too hard here. I do like how at the end of the song, one last one catches you off guard. I've seen so many people get hit by the last one.
I think I did beat my score, and I got less misses.
Yo. Oh, don't do that to me!
Luckily though, if they've been playing at least semi-good, their health will be high enough to not die from it. Next is a collab with the Versus Papyrus mod with their song Bad to the Bone. It's just an average song. You only unlock the song after beating Burning in Hell in week 2. A change would come to this song later, but I'll save that for later. Next is a 2v1 song with you versus Sans and Papyrus. Boondoggle is also just sort of a regular song with like one exception. The brothers sing against you while 3 arrow trails appear. Sans at one point even pulls out some bones and starts beating his head like a xylophone instead of rapping, while Papyrus gets irritated that he's goofing off. It's such a subtle way of showcasing their personalities, and I enjoy the brotherly like bickering followed by them smiling at each other and continuing the song. At one point the screen is just filled with arrows while you 3 are harmonizing, and it's just amazing. Definitely a fan favorite song in the mod for a reason. Next is a weird one. See, if you lose on Boondoggle, Sans will interject and thank you for letting Papyrus win, and gifts us with a code to type in free play. That will then lead to the song Sanis.
3, 2, 1, go!
Pretty awesome gift if you ask me. Now, despite the wacky nature of the song, it's actually pretty standard at first. No mechanics or anything, then at the end of the song, you get hit with this. Yeah, absolutely not. So yeah, Sanis from Underpants, an animation/AU of Undertale made by Senior Pello. A nice reference to put in, honestly. I never watched it, but I'm sure it was a pleasant surprise for many. Next up is Ritual, a song starring Sammy Lawrence from Bendy and the Egg Machine. It's a pretty chill song with a sort of creepy vibe to it. He sends eek notes at you, but other than that, nothing really happens. That is until the devs decide to troll you a bit and throw an insta-kill dodge mechanic right at the end of the song.
What the fuck? Why would you do that last second? Because you're like, oh, this is chill, you know, this is chill vibes over here. Fucking throws an axe at me.
What?
Yeah. Now, while in hindsight, this was a pretty good gotcha moment, but man was I pissed when I realized that was the reason I was dying so much. Like, I was furious, even more so than the actual harder songs. But it's not that big of a deal, since failing the song doesn't restrict you from anything, and the song itself is pretty short. Then there's the absolute banger that is Freaky Machine. DA Games himself along with Saster making a cover of Build Our Machine, and then halfway through going to Instruments of Cyanide. Naturally, people got hype as fuck for this.
What was he?
And some just straight up started singing the song.
In DA Games? Hold on, what? We go back home to play, but to your dismay, this isn't your day. For the happy fun time has begun to fade. Watch as we reanimate.
I love this community sometimes, man. Even people that had no idea what the song was supposed to be still popped off. No mechanics in this one, by the way. A pretty hype time. And finally, there's Ghosts, the song versus the Goose from Untitled Goose Game. You get the unlock method from the files, I'm pretty sure. But to actually play the song, you type G-O-S-E in the free playlist. Yes, it is Goose spelled wrong, hence why it's called Ghosts. Song's pretty good. The Goose sounds exactly like you think he does. No mechanics or anything, just a cool indie cameo. The extra free play songs are just a treat, man. They're all so good and itches that scratch of wanting more characters to show up. But now I think I should finally talk about the real challenge of the mod. The songs where the mechanics take on a new form. The very aptly named Nightmare songs. As the name suggests, these are the hardest songs in the mod. No contest. These are new songs with the main 3, with their mechanics enhanced to an extreme degree. Let's break it down. First is the Cuphead song, Devil's Gambit. He's pretty straightforward this time. No fake outs or nothing. He'll only shoot you with regular bullets and regular EX shots. The hard part is how much he does it. He shoots his attacks more frequently, making it so you really need to be on your toes to make sure you don't get overwhelmed and learn to double task if you weren't able to in Knockout. And to top it off, when Cuphead shoots EX shots, there's no warning besides a sound cue right before he shoots, even in the update. Hard as hell, but definitely the easiest one. The next song, Bad Time with Nightmare Sands, however, is where shit gets more serious. The notes are back in full force, but that's not all. The dodgeable attack now has 2 colors. If the dodge alert appears orange, you dodge like normal, but if it appears blue, you do nothing. And man, does having the state of mind to not panic dodge when you're not supposed to hard to have. On top of the notes you already have to hit and miss, it's absolutely crazy. So yeah, point is, song hard. Not as hard as the next one, where Bendy is coming back with a fucking vengeance. The song, aptly named Despair, brings exactly that. In the first half of the song, you think it's going to be harmless somehow. How foolish I was. But then suddenly, background opens up, ink machine on full display, and now the Butcher Gang is back, and this time they decide to bring another asshole who runs across the stage that you have to dodge, on top of the ink notes and shadow notes. Also on top of the fact that your vision will be obstructed by cardboard cutouts, making it so you'll likely either hit an ink note, get attacked, or both, which will then get your screen completely covered in no time. I know there's like a tech where you can dodge over and over again, but I'm not sure if that's still a thing in the update. I tried it and got blasted immediately. Needless to say, I didn't complete the song. I can only handle so much. That song is sensory overload. And the part I hate about it is that you have to play damn near 3 minutes of the song just to get to the mechanics part and practice them again. It's just awkward pacing in my opinion, but hey, it's supposed to be a super challenge, so it's not like I'm actually complaining about it. Despair definitely lives up to its name. Well, Nightmare Song's out the way, all that's left to do is explain the update. It fine-tuned a lot of stuff. For one, the mechanics themselves have a difficulty toggle that, instead of being in the options menu, are now toggleable in free play and story mode. The difficulties being off, standard, and hell. Standard being all the mechanics but toned down in great ways, and hell, where the mechanics are still the same as last time. Of course, there's been changes all around as well. For Cuphead, the prompt telling you about the bullets shows up on Technicolor Tussle, while the insta-kill shot screen will show on the third song, so it's fresh in people's minds when they play, which I think is a great addition. Along with the fact that there's now a prompt on screen for when the EX shot comes out. And I may or may not be wrong about this, but it feels like the dodge window is way more forgiving. The prompt even shows up when Mugman comes out, so that's neat. And on standard, all insta-kills are just damage across all weeks. For Sans week, on standard, the bone notes just do damage as well as a bit of poison damage. Bendy got a major change. For one, on standard difficulty, the ink notes simply darken your screen a lot instead of ink blots like last time. Ink blots will still be present on hell mode though. And for Nightmare Run's neon notes, the skin just got changed in general, and it's definitely easier to see, so that's well appreciated. As for free play, the most notable change is Bad to the Bone. Papyrus has a mechanic now where he sends a note from his arrow trail your way, and missing it results in a death or damage depending on the mechanic difficulty. Not much to say there. It's a pretty neat mechanic, requires a good amount of reflex though. Whew. Yeah, that was a lot. But yeah, that's Indie Cross. This update is currently the latest update out, and honestly, I consider it one of the best mods in the community. I know I already said that, but like, come on y'all, look at this damn mod. This is damn well just indie game DLC for Friday Night Funkin'. Since the quality of everything, the style, the charm, it all just gives me the warm, fun sort of feel that I'd get from an actual indie game. I'm serious. The animated cutscenes are so good, the effects are top notch, and it's not even just that, the music is amazing as well. Each song, with the exception of maybe Bendy at times, feels like the songs came from the games themselves. And the art? Bro, this image is still one of the hardest fucking covers for a mod I've ever seen. All the artists for the mod did amazing. This mod just makes me happy. Like, it's hard not to love this mod. At least that's what I thought was the case for people. But nowadays, it seems like a lot of people look back on the mod with some kind of negative outlook they may not have had before, and it's kind of a shame. The mod went through its trials, it got updated to suit everyone's complaints, and yet some people are caught up in the past. Look, I know it's impossible to please everyone, especially in this community, but honestly, let's just try and calm down and see the mod for what it really is. What any mod is. A passion project, made by a ton of fans of both indie games and Friday Night Funkin'. Adults and teenagers alike in a single community coming together at times to share the love of something. It's not worth getting so overly negative all the time. No mod is perfect. I don't think that's possible. I mean, Hotline might come very close to that, but that's not here nor there. So, let's not try and bite people's heads off over fun project. We're all just fans of Friday Night Funkin' here. Alright? Sorry. I was trying to end on a positive note, but I felt as if I needed to get that out there. In conclusion though, Indie Cross is amazing, and I love it, if that wasn't obvious enough. I'm grateful to it, since thanks to it, I finally buckled down and actually played Undertale and Cuphead. Cuphead I was gonna get to eventually since the genre is right up my alley for the type of games I already play, but Undertale? It was so different and I wasn't sure I'd be into it. But I finally did, and now I have one of my favorite RPGs ever. Not playing Bendy though, because I'm a little bitch, but I do appreciate Bendy. But regardless, Indie Cross will certainly go down as one of my favorite fan projects in any community ever. I wish the team nothing but fun times ahead, and I hope y'all are doing fine. Even to those who have left the team to pursue different things or do their own thing. All the power to y'all. As for y'all, I really hope y'all got some form of enjoyment out of this. This is actually my first attempt at scripted content, so I can only hope everything goes well, even if I may personally think the video is crap. As for any other video like this, maybe. You'll see when the time comes. In the meantime, however, please consider subscribing. I mainly do mod playthroughs, but I do want to do more things like this, so I hope you look forward to it. So with all that being said, happy birthday, Indie Cross, and peace out, y'all.